Hey, how's it going, guys? Coltamush here, and welcome to a $1,500 gaming PC build. I've been being requested pretty much at a daily basis at this point to do more higher-end builds, meaning builds over $1,000. You guys know I like to do budget and builds because I know a lot of you guys are on budget, but here is a higher-end build coming at a price of around $1,500, give or take, depending on where you shop. So let's get right into this with the CPU. For the CPU, I went with the Intel Core i7-4790K 4.0 GHz quad-core processor. This also has hyper-threading, effectively making it an 8-core CPU. 4 GHz is pretty high, but it's also a K-Series CPU, so if you want to overclock it, pick up a decent CPU cooler. Even something like a Hyper 212 EVO would work, and you can get it to an even higher clock rate if you want, but at the stock rate, it's still a beast of a CPU. I just want to mention, if you guys are just looking to game, I would recommend picking up an i5-4690K instead of this CPU. It's like $80 to $100 cheaper. It's pretty much going to do the same performance in gaming. It will lag behind in terms of video editing, rendering, and live streaming, but yeah, I just want to mention that. The i7-4790K is definitely intended for more than just gaming. If you're looking to just game, pick up an i5-4690K and you will be just fine. For the motherboard, I went with the MSI Z97 Gaming 5 ATX LG1150 motherboard, a fully featured motherboard for a relatively cheap price of $135. This is on the Z97 chipset, of course, 4 RAM slots up to 3300 MHz RAM, 32 GB in total. You can go for an SLI or Crossfire support, and just an all-around winner of a motherboard from MSI. They have a lot of good motherboards, and this Z97 board definitely falls in line for $135. Yeah, we could have gotten something more expensive, but wanted to save money since the majority of this build's budget did go towards the GPU, so kind of wanted to get a cheaper motherboard, but this is still fantastic for $135. For RAM, I went with G.Skill RipjawsX Series 8GB, 2 4GB sticks running at 1600 MHz. Some of you guys are probably wondering why I didn't go for more, because it's not essential in gaming. If you do want to go for 12 or 16, obviously the motherboard can support it. It can support up to 32, but get 8 for now, and 6 months, 12 months, 18 months down the line, you can just pick up another kit of this RAM, and you'll have 16 GB. For now, 8 GB is more than enough, so I just went with that for $65. Still a great amount of RAM to have. For storage, firstly with the hard drive, I went with the Western Digital Caviar Blue 1TB 3.5-inch 7200 RPM internal hard drive. $52 for this drive. Solid price. This is going to be your mass storage drive where you're going to keep all your games, movies, pictures, all your excess media is going to go on this drive. For the SSD, I went with the Samsung 850 EVO Series 250 GB 2.5-inch solid state drive. This is $95. Absolutely fantastic price for a 250 GB solid state drive. When I picked up my SSD, it was the Samsung 840 and it was 120 GB. It was like $140. So just a great price for a 250 GB SSD. SSD prices are coming down so rapidly these days that getting a 250 GB SSD was a no-brainer in this build, and at a great price of $95. You're going to want to keep your OS on here, Windows 7 or Windows 8. You want to keep your key applications, meaning the games that you access the most or the applications you go onto the most. For example, Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline, those games have long-ass load times if you have them on a mechanical hard drive. Put those games on an SSD, you can get into multiplayer games pretty quickly. Same thing with Skyrim. Those games, especially if you have mods on it, long load times. Put Skyrim on an SSD, much faster. So that's what you want to do with an SSD. Put your key application, those games you play the most, you want to put on this SSD. Everything else is going to go on the Caviar Blue 1TB, and this is just a good configuration to have. It's going to help with the speed of your PC. Your Windows is going to boot up in like 8 seconds. It's going to be great. Moving on to the video card, or video cards in this case, I went with 2 Asus GeForce GTX 970 4GB video cards. This is going to be in 2-way SLI, $320 each. A killer amount of performance with this setup. You're going to get a lot of performance. 1440p gaming or 1080p gaming. At 1080p gaming, everything's just going to die. You're going to kill every game. 60 frames per second, max settings, no problem. Even at 1440p, you're going to get killer performance out of pretty much any game. Witcher 2 with Uber sampling, this is going to be a configuration that can actually run that. If you guys don't know, Witcher 2 with Uber sampling is just crazy to run, but this configuration is actually going to do a good job. Witcher 3, no problem. Battlefield Hardline, no problem. Mordor, Dying Light, all those games, 1080p or 1440p. Max settings, 60 frames per second. Killer performance out of this SLI configuration. And both of these GPUs have solid cooling from Asus, so if you want to overclock it and get even more performance, that is an option as well. For the power supply, I went with the Rosewill Hive 750 watt 80 plus bronze certified semi-modular power supply. $84. Some of you guys might be asking, why is it only 750 watts? Don't I need an 850 or 1000 watts? Not at all. The GTX 970 is very power efficient for being the high-end video card that it is. We have two of them, and the Core i7 4790K, or if you decide to go with the i5 4690K, that isn't power efficient at all. In fact, to estimate, the max TDP of this build would only be like 550 watts, so this 750 watt is definitely great. It's also semi-modular, so it's going to keep cable management fairly easy, and for $84, this was a winner at this price. Really couldn't turn it down. Finally, for the case, I went with the NZXT H440. This is the black and red. It also comes in a variety of different colors. The black and red went well with the color scheme of this build, but this is a great case. It's an ATX mid-tower case, so it is mid-tower, but still, it's a solid case. A great side window. I know you guys love that if you want to see all your parts. And just a great case in all. NZXT has a lot of great cases, ranging from low prices to all the way to high prices, and this one was a fairly good case for $110. It looks great aesthetically, and then inside, obviously, it's great as well. Really big. If you want to do upgrades, you can do that as well. So yeah, this is a great case. This is the black and red edition. Comes in a variety of different colors, so if you want it in a different color, you can go get that as well. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Remember to hit that subscribe button, like this video. If you have any requests for future videos or comments or things I need to fix, let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching as always, guys, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.